our host, Mitchell S. Carnes. How are you, Mitchell? Dealing with the ice storm, but the books keeps rolling regardless of the ice storm, it sounds like.
Yeah. I've gotten the hardbacks before the ice storm hit, but the paperbacks are waiting, and I have that book signing event on February 7th. So we're hoping everything gets gets done in time where I get the paperbacks to take there. But we've gotten it. We've got internet back and phones back, and so we're going back on track.
All right, so let's dive deeper now. Let's dive deeper into what the more about the cleansing. I'm excited about this more than any of your books because I enjoy what the serial killer thing. So kind of
Oh,
go deeper into that.
yeah. This is the first one that has multiple deaths, and it's kind of a string of deaths, and they're all part of this cleansing. And so this, and the theme of this, kind of back out of it for Abby and for the killer. The theme is about the literal versus the heart. Where if you have a child who does everything that you've asked them to, but they do it with a bad attitude and begrudgingly and complaining all the time, versus a child who doesn't get it all right, but has a joyful attitude and wants to please you, which one would you have?
Right. You would take the one that I don't know which one would that's a hard question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, biblically speaking, God looks to the heart. And so he's going to look to the one who does the best they can with joyful out. How many times it's talked about a cheerful giver and the heart and love
Right.
God, love this. And so this, in the cleansing, you have a person who's trying to do everything by the literal, what they think and what they interpret, versus Abby's still learning about what, to do by the heart. That's that gut issue versus I've got to follow the principles and the rules, the procedures exactly right. So she battles with that issue on her level. The killer's battling with that, and then on a deeper level, we have the spiritual side of that, where God looks to the heart. And so uh, that's kind of where I'm going with this one.
No doubt, because going with this kind of process and in the cleansing, those are the biggest situation. And so this serial killer takes the Bible literally. It is of what you're saying.
Yes, and considers herself to be a prophet who hears God's voice and is doing God's voice. It's kind of based on those stories where the mother drowns her four kids because she hears God telling her to do so, versus knowing in your heart that God would not ask you to do something like that. And so that's the battle where the serial killer is locked in and thinks she is the voice of God and she's going to do all this cleansing and she's going to do this. And Abby's battling still with that, her father being that literal, vindictive, judgmental God, versus Dallas and Susan in her life that are about the heart of God and the love of Jesus.
No doubt. And that's the situation. And how does I guess in the book we're going to pick up how they knew this was religious in so many matters.
Right,
You know.
right. And on this one, with the serial killing, like I said, I think I said last time, but they find out really who the person is doing the killing about two-thirds of the way through or about half the way through. So it's not that mystery that you're solving that first, but then now it's how do you get into that person's mind and figure out who she's going to do next? So based on her MO at this point in time, how do we target the next who she's going to target and how do we stop her?
Right, exactly, because you never know what's next in
No.
the process. And you're really interested to know what the feedback of the book is so far. Your fans,
Yeah.
once they heard about it, they started reading it, right?
Yeah, and it's been nice to be with those book clubs and hear about Watergrave and what they picked up on that and what they liked about that. So I would love to hear that on the least of these, especially about the cleansings, because it's so different from the others.
And I guess that's why Goodreads is another great place for them to potentially put a
Yes.
review in. Yeah, for sure. Um, I guess the book signing, you're ready February 7th, hopefully weather permitting, right? You're gonna have to say that now.
Well, I looked at the weather and it's supposed to be 52 then, so I'm hoping that's correct. Yeah, we have that this Friday, and 2 weeks later, we're going to be in Johnson City. So Franklin, Tennessee, Johnson City, Tennessee. Then we're going to be in Carterville, Illinois in March. And I'm working right now with a library in Kentucky to do one there.
Great. And you want more and more virtual book signings as well.
Oh, yes, yes. And we're going to have that available on the autographed copies on the website.
Wonderful. And I think that's exciting for people too, right? To know they can get autographed copies.
Yes, I hope so.
I think so for sure. And all those big things happening, and you're writing the next book while doing it, right?
I'm 120 pages into it right now.
120. Oh my gosh. And you figure out when you have time to do it, right?
Yeah, that's been the key because I'm trying to develop land in Alabama to move down there, and then we're working on this plus the book coming out, and so many things pulling at me plus a full-time job. So we're working on it.
Okay. Let's talk, Mitchell, also about, particularly enough, what to prepare yourself for for these book signings. Now, this is like your third round through. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think you're going to do differently?
I like what I did last time with at least these. Instead of having just kind of sitting in front of everybody and talking as they're coming in the bookstore, to one-on-one with them and dialogue with them and people coming around. And so I get to Q&A immediately as opposed to trying to do that all at the end. So it's been nice to talk with them and meet them and direct them and give a little bit of feedback on our insight to the series itself.
Okay. And keep doing that stuff and then getting people to go. And if they're buying the latest book, to make sure they go back and buy the other books.
Yes, and I'll have all three available at each of the book signings.
Right. And a box set will come once the series is completely out, right?
Well, once this story arc of 6 books, yes.
And then what about also the series? What's the latest news in the series?
We're still going through legal issues on that, but everything is still a go for filming in July. Where this is all about the investors and how to do that because Tennessee has its own rules versus federal rules, and so we're trying to go through those hoops and get everything correct before we do it.
All right. Go to best place to go is mitchellscarnesauthor.com.
Yes,
Appreciate it, Mitchell. And more shows to come where you're going to be interviewing uh, people in the book and all these different things. So it's coming, I
yeah.
mean, in the movies and all that. It's coming
Plan
soon.
on scheduling those this week for later dates.
All right. That was the special simulcast of the Neil Haig Show and the Mitchell S. Carnes podcast, guys. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Neil.